if you focus on something and you believe in something and you think it's something that will happen and you truly believe that and you want it to happen, people may think it's crazy to say that or not, but as long as you put it out there and truly believe and work towards something, you can have it.
What happened? What changed him like that? I don't know. Something he saw, I guess.
You're listening to the Pencil Kings podcast, and I'm your host, Mitch Bowler. We're here to talk with successful artists and get the story behind their artwork and how you too can push your art to the next level. Make sure to check us out at pencilkings.com/podcast, and let's get on with the show. Today on the line, we've got Derek Rodenbeck. He's doing some really cool stuff.
What is it? I'm sorry to bother you. Just a few questions.
Welcome to the call, Derek. How are you doing today?
Hey, how's it going? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
I am currently a comic book artist. I graduated from the Kubert School, Dover, New Jersey, and Joe Kubert started it. Adam and Andy now basically run it since Joe's passing. And I graduated this past summer from there. And since then, I've been diving into working into comics and painting and galleries and all sorts of fun art things.
And did you always want to be a comic book artist, or how did you come to choosing that as your profession?
It's definitely an interesting story. As a kid, I remember taking pages. Funny enough, one of the comics I remember was an X-Men comic that Andy had drawn. And I would just copy pages, make up my own stories, make up my own characters. And all these characters still look like characters. They were all variations of Wolverine, but I would just be drawing all the time, and I wanted to draw comics. That it was just what I loved to do. As I grew up, I moved around a lot, and just life happens, and it was something that wasn't on the forefront of my mind anymore, especially going through school. I actually failed out of art, and
you failed out of art?
Yeah, I failed out of art.
Whoa, how do you I went to an art school, and not to knock it, but I don't think anyone failed. As long as you went to class, you were pushed through. But so you must have went to like an actual art school where they teach actual art.
No, I actually went to a public school. Yeah, and subsequently, the art class was the first period, and I wasn't the best student, I guess, going to school. I couldn't sit still. I couldn't pay attention. I wasn't groomed for what it takes to succeed in, I guess, a public school setting. I just want to draw what I wanted to draw, and it just didn't work out. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Going from there, I joined the military, and I was in the Army for a number of years, and deployed and did all that business, and found myself again drawing a lot on my deployment, and reading comics a lot on my deployment. And that's really the epicenter, that pinnacle moment where it all came back to me. That was about 6 years ago. I went from there, just said to myself, hey, this is something I could do.
I've never been in the military. I don't have any family members. I have zero point of reference. But when you're deployed, do you have a lot of downtime, to pursue your hobbies, or are you fairly busy all the time?
I had an interesting deployment. I didn't have one that was, I guess, a typical soldier or whatever. I had downtime when I wanted to have downtime. I would sacrifice sleep time or whatever. I went over as a personal security detail. I ended up doing like public affairs, so that's more combat photography, video type stuff. I was always moving, always really busy, and that's kind of how I guess I managed to get through the year. While people were sleeping, I was drawing. That's while people were hanging out, I was drawing. I definitely spent a lot of time with myself, just drawing and stuff. So it's really what got me moving again, and helped me get through, I guess, all that stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah.
How did you get your comic books while you were overseas?
Actually, I befriended JT Kroll from Aspen Comics. He worked with Michael Turner and all those guys, and he still does. Well, not Michael because he's passed, but he reached out to me and offered to send me stuff, and we developed a relationship and got to know him over years, and it's been pretty wild, you know?
I love how the internet lets you make these weird, well, not weird, but just it lets you make these connections
Yeah,
that it's like, if it wasn't for that person, my life would be completely different right now. Like
right.
that, just knowing that one single guy or gal set life on a completely different axis, and I'm grateful.
Yeah, you know, it really moved me that he went out of his way just to do that, just to send me books and just to write something and just to say, hey, you know, hey, I care, thank you. Something I definitely would never forget.
How did you make the transition from being in the military to becoming a full-time artist?
Literally, when I came back, I just decided this is what I want to do. It's still the only thing I want to do and can do. I can't see myself not drawing. I can't see myself not creating. It's the only thing that moves me, you know. I guess you know, I went to community college and I started taking some art classes there, and it was when I finally got accepted to the Kubert School to really start pushing and drawing, and that it's an intense program there. It's really intense.
Like, you came out of there and you basically were able to find work. Did you have to, some people get lucky and they post something online and somebody finds them, and that happens very early in their career, and then they're sort of like set up. It seems like those are few and far between. How did it look like for you?
I got to know Mark McKenna. He's a big time veteran in the industry, inker, and does phenomenal work. And he's been also a mentor to me, just kind of like checking in, seeing how I'm doing. I got to know Mark right before I went to the Kubert School. Just having that, I guess, professional knowledge before going in helped a lot. And then going to the Kubert School and getting that training from, you know, Adam and, you know, all the other phenomenal teachers that are there really set me on my path. My second year of the actual school, I ended up getting professional work. The book I was in, it was just small, you know, it wasn't a huge job, but debuted at San Diego Comic-Con, and you know, it was kind of cool, you know. It was, yeah, the second year of my school was, I guess, the breaking point when things really started.
You have a unique ability to reach out and make connections. How are you going about that? Because I think it's so beneficial for somebody that is trying to get started, that is trying to break out, that there's a ton of people that want to help you.
Right.
They love transferring knowledge, but there's sort of like a fear that's like, oh, I'm too small.
Yeah.
I don't, that person won't listen to me. But if you're serious, like if you want to be a X in the art field, like X meaning whatever you want to do,
Right.
You can find that person and talk to them. But how did you do it?
At first, it's scary. You know, you're really putting yourself out there, and not only are you putting yourself out there, you're putting your artwork out there. It's hard to, I guess, get over because you can't take anything personally, I guess, when it comes to your artwork, because you can only do what you can do at the time that you can do it, and what you can learn, it's valuable. I mean, you really got to take it in that sense. You can't be offended by anything. As far as networking and talking to people, though, I do have a knack for it, but it's only because it's something I've studied, you know, and really focused on developing. I think it's one of the most important things that you can do, because if you can't talk to people, then you can't show your work to people, and you can't connect with people. And as far as talking to people and connecting with people, that's what I want my work to do. I wanted to speak to things and that's going on in their lives, and I wanted to connect with them. I wanted to have meetings. So it's just really letting go and letting yourself be open to whatever's going to happen.
What you said that you had studied it and you had practiced it, this communication. Mm-hmm. What exactly what does that mean?
I wasn't necessarily introverted, but I was shy. I was like really shy, so much so that like I couldn't even talk to a girl when I was like in high school. it was
oh, that's the worst.
Yeah, it was bad, you know. I think what it was just coming to terms with being okay with who you are as a person, and trying to always self-improve, really looking to always grow, you know, and change yourself. And whether it's drawing or communication or, you know, eating with chopsticks, you got to work at it to get good at it. You know, it's something I decided I want to be better at this, and I have to put away any fear, I guess. I mean, even talking with you, it's there's always that little bit of fear of like, who is this person? What are we going to talk about? Am I going to sound silly on this podcast? Are people going to like me? But are they going to hate me? But you just you got to put it away. That's what gives you the confidence to go up to these people that you admire and want to hear nothing but great things from at the cons. And then you can slowly start to develop relationships with all these great artists. And hopefully they can kind of let you into their world a little bit and show you the path to make things a little bit easier.
Such a great skill to focus on early on is communication, being comfortable with yourself, learning how to recognize that your fears are, largely unfounded. That,
right.
I used to think that if I would reach out to someone that they would just attack me.
Yeah.
Like I traced it back, and when I was a kid, I forget how old I was, but like 12 or 13 or something. And like all these kids playing hide and seek. I was with this girl. I was like, "Do you want to make out?" And she looks at me and she says, "With you?" And she's just burst out laughing in my face. And then so ever since then, it's like I've had this complex. Yeah. It's like if I talk to a girl, she's gonna turn to me, talk to me as if I'm an alien, and then laugh in my face. And so it's like, I really wish that I didn't have that experience in my past. But now realizing it,
it's an awesome experience.
Challenge that thing. Like if you try it again, will somebody do something? It's like, who knows,
Exactly.
And like the next thing you know, it's like you did that to a stranger, and they're like, they kiss you on the street. And you're like, whoa, that I don't want to go that far. I never thought that would happen. And so you've challenged the belief, and then something equally weird and strange has happened, and you're just like, man, I don't know about life. I need to test more things. I need to be less afraid and challenge things.
A really big movement for that for me was coming home from overseas and really just being like, I'm going to live my life the way I want to live it, and I'm just slowly trying to become a powerhouse of doing the things that I want to do, because that's all you can do. Like you're the result of what you have.
So when you came back from overseas, did you have some kind of a framework that you used to say, like, now this is serious, sort of like life starts now, because before I felt like a little bit aimless, but now I'm choosing these directions intentionally?
I mean, there's a lot of confusion and stuff when you first get back. There's definitely some hiccups for me, coming home, and it wasn't just a smooth transition into to where it is now. There was hard times, but it was those hard times that really gave me focus to start developing and start moving towards where having more of these good times. And things are always volatile. Things are always up and down. Things are always difficult or easy, but those difficult times really make these good times that much better. They make them more savory. You can taste it. There's more flavor because you know what everything else tastes like. So I'd say it took probably 6 months to a year from coming home for me to really get into a full stride. And then I became a workhorse. And now I'm transitioning to where I'm studying and working, but I'm also experiencing and living and trying to do new things. So it come back into my artwork. You can't just do art all the time, and that's something I've learned.
Thought it was a fair gamble. Either I'd find myself or get it out of my system.
My first year at school, I ended up having to drive. It was 5 hours a day just to go to school for 8 hours.
What?
Yeah, for 8 hours a day. So I'd wake up at like 4:30 in the morning, and then I'd go to school for I get to school, drive from Westchester, Pennsylvania, all the way up into Dover, New Jersey, which is close to Parsippany, New York City, Newark area. I would go to school all day, and then I would immediately run out at 2:45 and jump in my car, go down 287 and drive back home, get home around 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I was trying to maintain a fitness schedule. It just didn't happen. I would eat, and then I would do homework, and then I would crash, fall asleep, wake up, do it again. I did that for the entire first semester. My ex-girlfriend she ended up for Christmas getting me a hotel for 2 days out of the week my second semester, which helped. It helped so much.
Wow.
Yeah, the first year at the school was extremely difficult. It's 10 classes a week, 8 till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then you get like the 5 hours plus of homework every night. So, needless to say, I was late a lot. you know,
Yeah.
but I powered through it, and health-wise, it screwed me up. I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't eating right. I was stressed. I was just working all the time. I was in traffic. People were crashing into my car. it was, it was definitely, but it was one of those. That's something I think it came from the military. From being overseas. Which one of the things I had to learn to let go was like just go 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 go. You'll deal with whatever else later, but you have to do this now. This is
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So yeah. By the end of that duration, that first year, I was out of shape. I was like 180 pounds. I needed surgeries because I had some health issues from just all of that. And yeah, it was
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. My second year, luckily, I was able to find a apartment about a mile from the school, and that's when everything started kind of coming together. And then I had to play catch up because I had missed time, and I didn't get to do as much as I wanted to do the first year because I was driving. So,
Mm-hmm.
so and then the third year, everything it's still a work in progress. I'm just a guy that draws stuff, and I'll get a professional job here and there, and I'll work with clients, and then I draw for myself a lot. Still looking for that Spider-Man book or whatever, but it's just knowing it'll happen, and it's just taking the time to continue to love what you do.
In the last podcast, we were talking about how there's sort of like that prestige, and you're chasing the prestige, or maybe chasing is the wrong word, but you feel that, once you've got there, once you've worked on that project, or once you've gotten in that magazine or that book or that award, that, life will be great and people will take notice, and they might,
right,
but they might not.
They might not.
But it's more like how you feel as a person, because once you do that, and if that's your only thing that you're striving towards, and you hit that, then
what?
Then what?
Right.
Yeah, it's like you climb the mountain, and it's like, oh, okay.
What do you do at the top? Do you jump off or do you climb back down?
Yeah, exactly. Like once you've done Spider-Man, can you get any higher than Spider-Man? Like maybe there is, but
right.
I don't think there's that. It's sort of like they're just equivalent peaks at that point.
I'd like to dive into writing my own stuff, and I'm working with a couple guys from my school, some of my best friends. That we're just doing a dumb little thing on the side, just to do for fun, not really to make money, or we're not looking to make money. It's just to, vent, and do and purge, I guess, these artistic, nuances that are stuck inside of us that need to get out.
When I saw your Facebook, I think you had just finished, but you hadn't posted the results, and so you're a fitness buff. But it's not like Derek hits the gym 3 times a week. It's a little bit more than that. So I'll let you tell people about it. But what I'm curious about is, what have you learned about yourself as you've gone for this goal, and how do you think it applies to your resolve, or I guess anything in terms of being an artist?
Mm-hmm. As far as fitness goes, I started really on this journey back in October this past year. I was still kind of out of shape, I decided I needed to change that and get back to not even where I was, but I wanted to blow that away.
Mm-hmm.
One of my really close friends, he's a pro bodybuilder, and he also lives with me. And I was lifting with him every couple days or whatever a week. He said, you should try and do a show. We ended up starting training for that. I bulked myself up and cut myself down, and I entered into a natural NGA show out in Plymouth Meeting, Pennsylvania, Mr. Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. And I competed in the physique category, which is more male model-esque, but I mean, you still have to have aesthetics, I guess. I ended up first time while winning and get my pro card.
Congratulations, by the way, man. Like, it's so awesome. I love it. It's like, yeah, I thought about doing this, and so I did it. And then, all these people have been doing it for a long time, and then I won, and yeah, it's kind of cool. Like,
yeah, it is.
Yes, that's awesome.
I just put the other part of me into it, and I found it to really balance me out. It was what I was lacking when I was just doing art all the time.
Interesting.
What lifting taught me was to chase and push through what I think I can't do, and that aggression, to really let out. And then, whereas drawing, it's smooth, and that teaches me to be patient and to study and to focus. And then, the lifting actually got me into more reading and studying philosophy and psychology and branching out, and all these things are continuous to help improve my artwork. I've started doing Muay Thai now. Just gonna give that a shot and see where that goes. We were talking about girls earlier. I chased the girl I wanted, and I got her. It's just I found that if you focus on something and you believe in something and you think it's something that will happen and you truly believe that and you want it to happen, people may think it's crazy to say that or not, but as long as you put it out there and truly believe and work towards something, you can have it.
Well, first of all, I love that the analogy and the balance, and like the exercise aspect and the bodybuilding is aggression, and that the artwork is smoothness and patience. I love that. I never had considered that before, that it's very good to be balanced. I know a lot of artists that I talk to are introverts, and maybe this is one of the things that's been missing, to balance that out, that it's not going to turn you into an extrovert, but it's just going to like make that introversion that you're obviously aware of like less.
Well, it's funny because now I'm on this kick of just doing things that scare the crap out of me. One of my really close friends, he works in television, and I ended up doing a music video.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It was definitely way out of my comfort zone. So, but, it's continuing to do things like that and saying yes to these things and focusing on moving a good direction that way.
There's a saying that some of my friends, I'm not sure who had coined it, but it's like life begins at the end of your comfort zone. So when things are comfortable, it's sort of like, it, you've done it before, it's routine, but outside of there, that's swimming in the deep end. That's where the sharks are. But, really, there's probably not sharks there. It's probably safe. But the fear is what makes it so exciting.
Exactly.
What makes it feel alive.
Exactly.
When you're doing the bodybuilding, you said you did it with your roommate. And did your roommate coach you?
Yeah, I've thanked him quite a few times, and he always says to me, "Well, you're the one that did it," But he would guide me. He would say, "Hey, you should do things this way, or these are your workouts. This is what you should eat." And so it was definitely a big help.
I'm a big proponent of mentors. I've had mentors in the past, and I've also slogged through a lot of stuff the hard way just by putting my head down and kind of like breaking brick walls with my forehead. Yeah. It's a lot easier when you have a mentor, and that's one of the things that we try to do with our website, with Pencil Kings, is to make sure that people, when your family doesn't have your back, when your friends don't have your back, that we do have your back. That if you're trying to become an artist,
it's awesome
that there's somebody that's there that can help guide you to that next step, instead of floundering around as like, well, I don't know, I go to the library and there's 200 books on drawing. Which one do I choose? Well, it's like, it depends on which stage you're at, and I think it's really helpful. So, Derek, where can people find your website, get in touch with you, hire you for Spider-Man comic book, whatever people...
Batman, whatever you want to do.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, whatever people want. What's the best way to reach out and get in touch with you?
I guess email me, or you can find me really anywhere. If you type in Derek Rodenbeck into Google, a whole plethora of items will come up. Tumblr, /Derek Rodenbeck, Instagram /Derek Rodenbeck, Facebook /Derek Rodenbeck. Or you can email me at derekrodenbeck@gmail.com, and you can find me on derekrodenbeck.com, but I'm going to be rebuilding that website. So I'd stick to the Tumblrs, Instagrams, and Facebooks.
Sounds like you're a boss at social media.
Yeah, you got it.
I'm going to spell it out here, and I'll have the links for all that stuff as well on Pencil King. So it's pencilkings.com/Derek Rodenbeck, DEREK-RODENBECK. And the interview will be there, and all the show notes, and hopefully we can get a picture of Derek and your Akita. I love those dogs.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, they were, I believe it's the ancient Japanese emperors used them as their guard dogs, correct?
Yeah, essentially, and they're used for hunting bear and
it's the dog that hunts bears, that dog. All right, Derek, very inspiring, all the stuff that you're doing, and I think I'm going to hit the gym today.
Yeah, great. Well, it's been great to talk to you, and hopefully we'll be able to talk more.
Yeah, likewise. All right, bye.
All right, see you.
You don't understand. We saw something that changed him. That's what happens to all of us. Doesn't matter if we really see it or only imagine we do. We see something that changes us.
If you'd like to know more about what we do, head on over to pencilkings.com, where we're offering professional training for artists all over the world at a price that anyone can afford. See you there.